Hi, friends. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Deborah's Money Journey. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. I appreciate you for being here. Today, I'm going to do a video that I have never done before. I have never really shared my entire debt and what my payoff journey has been since I started really focusing on my debt payoff and also tracking this when I started my channel. I was paying my bills. I was mostly paying minimum payments throughout the years, but I was adding debt, and my debt just seemed like it wasn't going down. It was actually increasing. I want to share with you all my debt journey, what it's looked like, what I started out with, what was the total amount I started my journey with, and what was my process along the way. This is very eye-opening just to see my progress over the years, because when the progress is slow, sometimes it feels like you're not doing anything, you're not moving. But when you see it and you can really see the change that happens every year, that's going to make a difference. And that's why, people always say, don't stop, keep going, be consistent. Sometimes small steps. If you have more, put more on your debt. If you only have the minimum, put the minimums. But whatever you do, just keep going. And eventually you will see the fruits of your labor. Okay, guys, I want to start my debt payoff in 2022 because that is the year I started my YouTube channel. I started around late August and September, but I had started really tracking my debt, tracking what I was spending, making a budget every month. I was doing those things, but I really wasn't focused on one type of debt payoff method. I wasn't focused on a snowball or an avalanche method. I think what propelled me to focus on my student loan was mainly because I had that student loan over 20 years and the debt was not going down. It just kept going up, 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 even when I was making payments. And I was so angry and so frustrated that I still had that debt and that I had now owed $50,000 on it. I decided to say goodbye to Navient and I went with SoFi. Changing my student loan servicer was the best decision because I finally started taking the debt payoff seriously and I finally started to see the debt go down. So let's go to 2022. I just want to share with you all what I have done over the last 4 years so that you can see all of the hard work is paying off in a really big way. All right, so in January of 2022, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to start you off with my starting balance in January, and then I'm going to end the year with my December balance. If I go month by month, this will take way too long. So I'm just going to do snapshots of the year that I was paying the debt. Okay? All right. So my student loan in January of 2022, I owed $37,031.38. And then by December, I owed $30,155.49. So I paid off $6,875.89 in the year of 2022 for my student loan. I did something that I really regretted. I got a personal loan for $10,000. Now, I didn't get the loan in January. I ended up getting that in March, but I'm just putting it here for reference. But that was the beginning of the year when I added more debt to my finances. And so by the time I got to December, the balance was $7,385.78. It was a 36-month loan. So the reason why I was not too worried about it is because I knew the 3 years were going to go by. And I also knew I had a very low interest rate. I believe it was about 2.2%. It was very, very low. And I felt like it was definitely not going to be one of those loans where I was paying more interest than anything. But I paid $2,614 the first year. Credit cards. Now, for my credit cards, I have a Discover card and a MasterCard. Those are the two cards that I tend to use and charge items on my for just different things. And I wasn't paying my balances back. And I think I was just telling myself I wasn't going to worry about the credit cards because I was focused on my student loan. And that's really what was sort of my thought process and why I kept charging and using my cards. So I ended the year with $3,205.15 in debt, in credit card debt. And I actually increased my credit card debt by $556.50. So I was already off to a really bad habit of charging and not really making sure I had the money to pay it off. And then I had my car payment. So my car payment at the beginning of 2022 was $31,185.38. And by the end of the year, I owed $26,251.67. And so the difference for the year was $4,933.71. Now, I was putting more money towards my student loan, and therefore all my other debts, I was mainly paying the minimum, sometimes a little more than the minimum, but I really put the majority of my extra money towards my student loan. In 2022, and because I had the loan in March, again, at the beginning of 2022, I owed $80,865.41 in debt. That was my debt. I was over $80,000 in debt in January of 2022. But by the end of the year, my debt had gone down by $13,867, and I owed $66,998.07. So even though I had the debt, I was paying my mainly my car payment, and I was paying my student loan, and of course the personal loan was getting paid on time, and I was making regular payments on that. I wasn't paying anything extra. I was just making sure that payment was made. So 2022 didn't start off too well. I wasn't happy that my debt was in the 80,000 range. But by the end of the year, I was hopeful because I was at 66,000, and I felt like I can do this. I can go further and do everything I can to possibly lower my debt. All right, so let's go to 2023 and see what happened. All right, so in January of 2023, my student loan was $28,411.31. So that was making me feel like I'm getting there because I was in the 20,000 range. I was out of the 30s. And so I started the year off really excited and energized to get the student loan paid off. And I ended the year 2023 at $19,840.99. So I paid $8,570.32 towards my student loan, which to me is amazing because I had other debts. I was still able to put a nice amount of money towards my student loan, more than what I did the year before. Okay. My personal loan here at $7,117.06, and I ended the year at $5,764.32. So I paid $1,352.74 towards my personal loan. Again, minimum payments every month. It was an automatic payment. They just took that out of my bank account every month. All right, my credit cards. So guys, this is where I'm really, really, really ashamed. But I want to show you all that nobody is perfect and that everybody, no matter how organized or how it feels like they have it together, you never know, because we can all do things that we regret and that we have to work on. It's a work in progress. I know me, and swiping credit cards is a work in progress. I already know that about myself, and I'm really going to try my hardest to get my credit card debt paid off completely and only use it when I need to, but pay it off in the same month. That is a goal of mine. But again, I'm one of those one track mind people. And when I was paying in 2023, I was focused on my student loan. That is all I cared about. I didn't care about any other debt but the student loan. So I started the year at $3,843 in credit card debt. I ended the year with $8,301.28. I increased my credit card debt by $4,458.26, which is horrible. That is horrible. And I promised myself when I saw this, I would never do this again. Remember, I was already cash stuffing. I was already sharing my monthly budget. I was already telling you what I was doing to save money and make progress, but yet I was charging my credit cards like a crazy person. And because of that, I was really ashamed to share my numbers with everybody. But I want to just put it out there because I want to show someone that it doesn't matter what you start with. Keep going, work on it, make sure you are moving in the right direction, and really just stay on track, stay focused. You can get out of debt. You can work towards that. Okay, then my car payment was $25,751.52, and I ended the year with $22,156.22. So my car payment went down by $3,595.30. So in 2023, my total debt was $65,122.91. And at the end of the year, thank goodness for my student loan going down and my car payment, because my debt still went down even though I messed up with the credit cards. I was down to $56,062.81. So this is a slow, gradual, progressive debt payoff, but the years have gone fast and the time has just flew by, and and no matter what, remember, you have to make those payments, so make them. But if you can pay extra to get it paid off quicker, I would encourage you to do that. And so that is the 2023 year. $9,060 in debt was paid off. And I went into the new year in the 50s. So let's go into 2024 and see what happens. Okay, 2024, my student loan, guys, 2024. I started the year at $18,842.07, and I ended the year at zero. I paid off that entire $18,842 balance in the 2024 year. I paid it off in October, and I just made sure that I was making large payments. I was saving extra money to go towards my car payment. I was using savings challenges. I even pulled some money out of my savings account to try to get that paid off quicker. And I did it. I paid off that student loan in 2024. So it took me 4 years to pay back $50,000. Let me just tell you, that was the happiest day. And it's still the happiest day of my life being done, because it feels like you are in chains. You are bound up and you are stuck. That's what it felt like. I was stuck with that debt. I thought I was going to have it for life. But when I paid it off, guys, I'm so free. There's just a release of freedom and joy that came over me. And I'm still excited. I'm still tickled pink that I paid off my student loan. What a wonderful, wonderful goal to finish. All right. My personal loan, if you notice, I started the year at $5,496.22. Well, I paid that off. I paid the entire amount off by December, so that entire amount is gone. So the personal loan, I believe I had about another year to go, but I just took care of it and finished it off quicker by the end of 2024. So I was determined that I was going to pay my debts off and really accelerate paying off because and I was just determined to do it. And so I think with the determination, with everybody cheering me on every month, that really gave me the motivation I needed to keep going. Now, I have to say thank you all for being there for supporting me, because that meant so much to me. All right, credit cards. I started the year at $7,890.22. And by the end of 2024, my credit cards dropped to $6,204.18. So they did go down, and that was a difference of $1,686.04. So I am definitely not going to be getting my cards up to where it was in 2023. I still have some work to do, but again, my focus right now is my car. My car payment in 2024 in January was $21,647.67. And by December, my balance was $12,563.18. I put $9,084.49 towards my vehicle. So when you look at what I paid in 2024, guys, my debt was $53,876.18. And by the end of December, my debt was down to $18,767.36. I paid $35,108.82 towards my debt. Wow, that is crazy. That is insane. That's incredible. That is incredible. The amount of money I put towards debt in 2024. And thinking about that number and what I could have done with that money if it was for some other purpose, like maybe my retirement account, my investment account. But I digress. I'm so happy that 2024 was a year that afforded me an opportunity to really pay off as much of my debt as possible. All right, let's move to 2025, the current year. So in January, no student loan, so that is wiped out. My personal loan is gone. That debt is wiped out. My credit cards, I started the year at $5,798.43. So my credit card balance is now $4,281.86. And the difference is $1,516.57. So since January, I have paid down $1,516.57 in credit card charges. And I still have the rest of the year to work on paying more down on those credit cards. And then my car payment. So my car payment in January was $11,938.18. And in June, my car payment is $4,553.69. Do you see that number, guys? Do you see that number? So my difference is $7,384.49. Wow. So how have I done so far this year? My debt in January was $17,736.61. And now I'm sitting at $8,835.55. So I've already paid $8,901 and some change in debt. I am on track to get this car paid off within the next few months. And then I'll have my credit card balance left, and that should go very quickly. I may, I just might be debt free by December, guys. I just might be debt free by December. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I am so excited. It has been, I don't even know how long since I can truly say I'm debt free. Like, I honestly don't know because I've been in debt for so many years. But this is incredible, all because I have been focusing and working really hard, putting extra funds towards my debt and really targeting one specific debt. And that's been my strategy. Targeting one debt, getting that paid off, going for another one. So I'm not using the snowball method or the avalanche. I'm just, I believe, paying off the highest amount, even though my personal loan wasn't more than my car. But I wanted to get the personal loan out the way because it was just annoying to have an extra debt that was $300 a month. But all in all, $8,835 is left in debt. I still have 6 months to go, and I am very, very grateful. I'm very happy. I do know I am a high income earner, and so I do know that I have more income than most people. But I know that there's a saying that sometimes when you're saving or when you're paying off, it's not about how much you make, but it's what you do with what you have and the choices you make with your money. And I am very, very, very appreciative for everybody supporting me along the way because this has not been an easy journey. Paying debt off is not fun. It's boring, guys. It's mundane. But when you pay the debt off, oh my gosh, you will feel so good knowing that that zero balance sitting there. So I'm very, very excited. I'm very happy. And I want to keep going. I'm going to keep focusing on getting this car paid off. And then I'll just have my credit cards. Yes. And I want to thank you all for supporting Debra's money journey for almost 3 years. It has been that long. Wow. And it has been incredible because one thing I've learned on this journey is that if I want to do something, I can do it. And I do it because I don't want to let people down, because I made a commitment to myself that I was going to keep pressing forward and I was going to get my debts paid off. And I'm doing that. And I think it's really working because I not because it's not just I'm keeping my word to myself, but that you're there to support me and to tell me that I can do it. And that is probably the most important piece to all of this. So again, thank you, everybody. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you. And best wishes to everybody out there in the midst of a debt-free journey. Keep going, stay focused, stay on track. You can do it. Have a great day, and I'll see you again in another video. Bye.